President Putin does not want peace. He just wants to kill, and everybody who had ever a chance to meet with him on the warland that understands. But I would like just to mention one very important thing. No one uses ballistic missiles with cluster munition against military in a civilian sector. It was a deliberate strike on Sumy just to get the more victims the possible. And Vladimir Putin with that was showing that he doesn't care about any peace, that all the negotiations are useless, and he is showing his strengths in comparison with all the other countries that support so-called negotiations. Unfortunately, all the negotiations are perceived by Putin as weakness, and that means that the more we negotiate, the more he is going to kill Ukrainians or maybe even not Ukrainians. We have to discuss the very important point, but not this ceasefire or negotiations with Putin he is not interested in. We have to negotiate the punishment of Putin and Moscow Federation for this unprovoked war that he started against Ukraine and against all the democratic world.
What is your reflection, Sofiya, on President Trump describing these attacks as a mistake?
Unfortunately, I have to underline that this is just the comments on Russian propaganda, and maybe he does not want to understand just to have a possibility to negotiate with Putin. Maybe he was disinformed. I don't know exactly. But seeing all these attacks in Kryvyi Rih last week where 9 children were dead, or this week what we had in Sumy, and actually yesterday was attacked the kindergarten in Kharkiv. Fortunately, there were no children, but they attacked kindergarten. And it's impossible not to understand what Moscow Federation does to Ukraine. If Trump doesn't want to understand that he has some interest in some deal with Putin, and we all are trying to reach him with information that all the deals and all the negotiations with Putin make America small, very small, and America will lose the status of the watchdog of democracy. And unfortunately, all the civilized world, all the democratic society will lose a lot if this process will go on.
Tell me, what do you mean when you say possibly President Trump does not want to understand what is happening there? What do you mean by that?
I don't want to provoke, but maybe as I'm not negotiator, I just a common MP, that President Trump wants to have the platform for the negotiations with Putin, and he is trying to reach some much more important deal to his point of view. But every deal...
Such as what? What do you mean by that? I know you don't wish to be provocative, but
I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but what we see was this agreement on natural resources with Ukraine. Unfortunately, he can make more profitable deal with Putin because the natural resources he wants are situated on the front line and on the occupied territories.
Okay.
Who knows who is doing what negotiation with that? But I don't want to believe in that, actually. But the statement of Trump that it was a mistake, that means that he's not interested to understand what's going on in Ukraine. Therefore, though I'm in opposition to President Zelensky in internal politics, I fully support his position that he invited Trump to come to Ukraine and to see by his own eyes what is going on here. And I fully do not support the statement of Trump that this is the war of Biden he started and the Trump is going to finish that. It's not war of Trump, Biden, of any other president of any other country of the world. This is the war Putin started, and he announced it actually in 2007 in Munich Security Conference, when he said that the demise of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical loss of the 20th century. And from that time on, he wants to restore empire. As his internal politics are very bad, So he is trying to grow his empire by expanding its borders. And Ukraine just one of the countries on its way.
Okay, and I clearly note your repudiation of the comments that were made by President Trump in his recent Truth Social posting. It is true too, though, America is still supplying Ukraine with arms and intelligence, which I assume are still of considerable value.
Yes, we still do have supplies from the United States, and we are really grateful for all the great American nation for all the support that we get. But unfortunately, we have to say that the supplies and money we get from the Biden programs. None of the new programs is being adopted today. And I hope that on the highest level, I mean, between two presidents and also including our European partners, there are negotiations to continue these supplies and creation of some Trump program to support Ukraine to withstand the Moscow aggression. Unfortunately, we are really dependent on American supplies. We have a lot of weapon that is of American origin, and it's a big question for the European countries and for Ukraine how to create our own European security system and how to get our own European arms supplies to Ukraine. Fortunately, we have a great support from the Great Britain. We have a big support from France, Denmark, Germany, and many other countries. But unfortunately, without the United States, it's not enough to withstand the machinery of Moscow Federation.
All right, Sofiya, thank you so much. Sofiya Fedyna, the Ukrainian MP. This is in from a listener listening to Sofiya's thoughts there. Love this guest, putting party politics aside and supporting the democratically elected leader for the benefit of her country. True politics, serving the people. And Andrea puts things, well, very bluntly, just saying this. Just when you think Trump couldn't get more stupid, he's gone and done it. The war in Ukraine is all the fault of Zelensky and Biden, not his hero Putin, and he's making reversals on his tariff arrangements. Andrea, obviously not impressed.